Back to another episode and the final episode of the AAU Overtime Podcast here at the AAU College Hockey National Tournament. Joining me for this final episode here in Westchester, the chairman, Mark Perowitz, the tournament coordinator, Michael Perowitz, making his debut on the podcast. Guys, welcome to the podcast. And Wednesday to Wednesday, I'll start with the chairman, Mark. All completed. We just wrapped up our two finals games. Division III goes to Miami, and just now Division II goes to Florida.
Boy, is this a College Hockey South sweep, except for Paul Smith's.
Yeah, right. They're the only ones.
The only ones. Paul Smith's won the women's. South Carolina D1, Miami D3, and now you've got Florida D2. It's a Kyle, as the commissioner of College Hockey South, has got an ear-to-ear grin on going out there. But we've been talking about this for the last 3 years. Hockey in the South is really come alive, and even more so. You take a look at the rosters. There's a ton of players coming from New York, Minnesota, New England, going down south to play. And I think people are recognizing that there's a real huge opportunity as an alternative to NCAA D3 here. You're going to these big schools, the traditional SEC big schools. You're getting a very different kind of environment, culture, education, and you're playing a great level of hockey, as we've seen here over the course of the last week.
So now, Michael, I'll go to you first. And now at the tournament, now your first time, right? Were you here the years during the COVID year helping out? Because I haven't seen the last 2 years.
I was here for the initial attempt at the Fed Cup.
That COVID year,
Version 1, yes.
Unfortunately, so now was it like, I'll say your first time in completion for the tournament, because unfortunately COVID ruined that first time. So what was it like dealing with the players, the coaches, the fans all week long? Mike?
Oh, it's been great. I'd say 99% of what goes on behind the curtain was a huge success. All the games getting out on time. We have a huge intern team that I'd love to thank every single one of them by name, but they've been running around helping everything get sorted from day start to long after the players have gone home. It's been awesome. And to see everything through, all 4 championship games, getting to see everyone celebrating, it's been awesome.
Mark, how do you feel about now the first year you guys ran through 4 different divisions, so a lot to undertake, and now just the 5th year of the league, you guys crowned 4 champions at once?
We started out, our first year was the pre-COVID year. I think we had 62 or 63 university teams, and we've got close to 150 now. The tournament has grown from an initial 18 to 20 to now 48 across 4 divisions. The complexity of that has grown dramatically. If we didn't have the interns, right, and all the people who volunteer, it would be crazy. Excuse me. But the people who are really invested in this, Scott Solomon, who's our executive director, John LaRochester, who is our director of hockey ops, Sarge Day, our D1 commissioner, Randy Smallwood's D2 commissioner, Jake Turcotte, D3 commissioner, Casey Garish, women's commissioner. Without them, right, we wouldn't be able to do anything like this. And then you've got all the entirety of the infrastructure. So, this has been a full-on team event in order to pull something like this off. And this is not just today or the start of the tournament. This has been year-long planning to get something like this, right? So we'll go away from here for about a week, and now we'll start to plan it all again. Yeah.
Yep, ramping things up, and then right around the corner, Mark, is going to be the All-Star Challenge coming up in April. So we kind of went over that with Scott's, but what's the planning going to be like? You say you go away from the week and then right back to ramping things up. So what's the planning process that's going to now lean into that April tournament where now the best of the best are coming down to Florida?
Yeah, so it'll be great where each of our conferences are going to bring their own all-star teams, and we'll have a Ryder Cup style best on best for 3 days. And right in the middle of it, since we'll have everybody down there, we're going to do our annual meeting. And, we'll talk about what went right this year. What are the things that we need to evolve? There's always things that we need to evolve. And we look for advice and counsel and different ways of thinking about it. Scott has always said, we don't have, the premium on all good ideas. And we rely on our members to bring us ideas that, we consider and we act upon every single year. So, we look forward to those conversations. We have breakouts in addition to, what goes on the ice. But we look forward to those meetings to review, what went right and how do we need to continue to evolve this.
And then I think just to add on to that is not only just ideas, but sets of hands, anyone who wants to be involved in media, involved in boots on the ground at the tournament and other events. I think opening that up as well and getting everyone included.
Yeah, Mike, you were right there in the thick of things, in charge of a lot of people in the media team. Like you mentioned, all the interns. What was it like coordinating, whether it be operations, whether it be hands-on stuff? I saw you over here in the media area a lot, whether it be in the office. You're on the ice as well. So what's it like not just like working with the players and whatnot, but now working with this large staff year by year is growing?
Well, certainly got my steps in this week.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. None of this could have happened without Gabe Takuri, one of the other coordinators.
He just took one of the trophies and
yeah,
put it
he's
away.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I ask, "Where's Gabe?" Probably about
Everyone
10 times a
asks,
day.
Where's Gabe?
Everyone.
This whole week, yeah.
And we never have an answer. Gabe is the man behind the curtains. But no, helping pull together all of this and tie a nice bow on it. It's been a great experience, and every single person that's been working on the team, from the guys putting together the locker rooms and putting magnets on the locker rooms, to the med room, to capturing all of our streaming here and our post-game interviews. None of this would go on as smoothly without them. So I want to thank every single one of them.
And now for the workers, Mike, have you had any interaction with the players, the families, the coaches throughout the tournament? We saw you on the ice during the celebration. So any feedback from like that personnel I just mentioned?
I'd say, again, 99%. Thanks so much. Such a positive experience. And I think one of the phrases that's been uttered a lot is it's made everyone feel special, and everyone's got to have kind of that experience that I wouldn't say you don't normally see at a college level, but you want to be a pro hockey player. This is kind of the experience that you're getting. You're getting the ceremonies on the ice, the medals, the MVPs, the post-game interviews, and kind of living that life at the national tournament for a week.
And that's a big thing. I mean, Jordan, you've seen that with all the interviews that we've done in the post game. The teams come crowding around, the parents and the families come crowding around. Parents are videotaping, their sons and daughters, right? They're sitting there, with tears in their eyes. I just saw a grandmother and a grandfather just absolutely, crying, hugging their grandson who just won a national tournament. That's why we do it. Since very few, if any, are going to progress into the professional world, and at some point, like all three of us, will play beer league.
Yeah,
right.
We all get there somehow. One day,
even the pros, they all get there.
Yep.
Right. This is the pinnacle of their career. This is what we want to leave them with. And I told that to both winning teams today, especially for the seniors. Remember the feeling that you have now, and now go teach the next generation about this.
You're just passing along, and that mindset that you had, like you're doing your coaching days, you're coaching your son, Mike. Is that the mindset you developed then, and now passed on to Mike as well?
Oh, I couldn't. He won't like saying this in front of him. I couldn't be more proud of the way that Mike and Gabe and others have just stepped in. They have as much passion for what it is that we are doing as we do. And I think as parents and those of us that leave a legacy, that's really special. And hopefully we're imparting this on the players. I mean, all of the coaches here, they all volunteer for the most part. Mm-hmm. All of the administrators, we all volunteer, right? We're not getting paid. We're not doing this for anything other than giving back. And there's a feeling that we all get of satisfaction, of personal satisfaction for doing this, and then that's why we do it.
And then you see the experiences that you don't get, that players have not had before, like just behind us. It's all wrapped up now, but the training room, it's the reason why my voice is still intact, that training room.
As opposed to last year.
Yeah, last year by like day 2 or 3, it was in the toilet.
Yeah.
But the reason why my voice is intact and a lot of the players are intact right now is what we got going on in the room behind us is that great facility that the players have taken advantage. I know you stopped in too. I encouraged Mike as well to stop in. I don't know if you wind up doing it, but Mark, what a great training stamp. And I know, Mike, you could attest to that as well, witnessing what was going on.
I mean, we had a full medical team there. In addition to all the Normatec, we had a dozen Normatec pants and the tables in there, and the pre-wraps and the post-game, and when unfortunate things happen, people get hurt. They have a training staff here that's covering every single of the games, but to have the medical staff back here that will do the quick evaluation of that, determine whether or not they do need to go to the hospital or just get additional wrap or things of that nature. I mean, we've had, Koji's a physical therapist who was just wonderful in getting out the knots. I mean, he got mine out. He worked on me for about a half an hour. But, it allows the kids to, who are playing, again, 6 games in 6 days. Right, by day 4, day 5, that's a lot of ice baths.
Yeah,
that really help out. But the facilities there, you go in before a game, it's half full. You go in there after a game, there's
line out the door.
There's 20 players in there, 12 at a time, wearing the Normatec pants and the recovery cycles and everything like. That's a game changer when you're doing something like this.
And my stories have been trickled out throughout the podcast throughout the year. So, Mike, maybe from your perspective, have you been in the shoes of these guys playing these long stretch of games consecutively, 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row? Whether it be tournaments, what is your body going through? How did you deal with recovery back then, and how much did it affect you on the ice? Those long stretch of consistent games in a row.
Look at that. You're 32, and it's back then.
I know. Well,
it's back then for me, and I'm 27. Yeah.
My style was kind of let's play bumper cars every shift.
Okay.
So trying to get an ice bath and tape up the wounds a little bit was key. And like Jordan said, by day 3, day 4, it's you take 30, 45 minutes to get going in the morning, and just trying to get everything loose. So having those facilities available is truly a game changer.
And now I'll ask you both this question. I'll start with Mark, and then we'll go to Mike. Without revealing too much, where do you see this tournament growing? Like, where's aspects you think, all right, we could improve on this. All right, we can take this aspect and expand on it without giving up too much.
No, it's fine.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I think, this year was a pilot year for D1 and women's. So, as we bring on more D1, as we bring on more women, the opportunity for them is going to get greater. Last year we added D3 to D2, right? We've eased that in. I think with the amount of teams that hopefully are going to continue to come abroad, we'll be able to expand the tournament next year. We're likely going to take it down south. And there aren't too many 4-pad facilities down south. So we're going to have to be a little bit creative, likely have it over a stretch of 10 days, with a little bit of a gap in the middle, like a Wednesday to Sunday, which will give us a little bit of time to breathe and things of that nature. But it gives us an opportunity to really be more concentrated rather than, 8 days in a row here. It allows us to be a little bit more concentrated on what is it that we do, and think about what additional opportunities. I mean, I would love to have an outdoor part of the fan experience. It's kind of difficult to gauge that in Philadelphia in March. Exactly. Last year, we tried to do it. We put up a tent outdoors. We wanted to bring in bands and things of that nature, and then it snowed the entire time. I don't think we'll have that problem down in the South next year.
Won't be complaining about that.
But I'd love to have a broader outdoor fan experience, rather than you come play a game, watch a game, and then leave. One of the other things that we tried to do was bring in a couple of 18-wheelers, which have those gaming stations in them, right, to put in the parking lot. So we want to keep players here, a little bit more competition, things of that nature, because there's good 24 hours in between games. Yeah. And we want to create a bit more of an experience for them. We'll continue to evolve it. That's why we worked with the Hockey Hall of Fame to bring in those 5 NHL trophies, right? We're going to look to do that again next year.
Gotcha.
I think the other thing to think about, if you are going Wednesday to Sunday, is that all of the finals would be over a weekend, where everybody can get off work, come down to the stadium. Our attendance for the South Carolina D1 game on Sunday was phenomenal. And I think having that across all 4 divisions would be something special to work on too.
I agree. And, we'll take a little bit to get the final statistics, but over the course of 8 days, we'll likely have had over 4,000 fans walk through here. And because we made the decision to do the live stream for free,
I was just going to bring that up
this year, last 2 or 3 years, because we were a bit more budget constrained, we had to ask people to pay for it. And when you do that, it helps us to defray cost, but it really limits the amount of people that you can get exposure to this great brand of hockey. This year, we made the big decision with the help of some sponsors to go ahead and do it for free. And we were talking with Andy Dickerson of Black Dog. By the end of today, and he'll run a report for us, we'll likely have over 50,000 unique devices. Now, that doesn't mean that's 50,000 people looking at it, because there's some form of algorithm where it's 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. But could you imagine 50,000 unique devices over 8 days checking in on 85 games? And we know that there are times where people have a viewing party. There's 10 or 12 people there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was getting alerts from Lewis about the viewing parties that were going on during this D2 game.
So even at a 2-to-1 ratio, that's over 100,000 people viewing this tournament, which is fantastic.
And clips across all the socials and reels and stories and what have you. We're seeing highlights all over. So
yeah, I saw like you had a big hand in that social media presence this weekend, getting clips out, making sure everything looks nice. Clips are getting out, posts are getting out, And is that something that you've had experience with in the past, Michael, or is that something you just came on board with here and it's new to you?
I wouldn't say significant experience, but I'd say it was a need that we kind of needed filled, and all hands on deck and just trying to do whatever we can. Big thanks to Tim Turner, who put together a lot of the graphics behind the scenes. A big thanks to Aidan McGarry back at Farmingdale, who's been doing a lot of the schedule graphics and results graphics. And again, across all of the conferences, and AAU headquarters, who have been contributing a lot to the media presence
another big
across
shout
the
out
tournament.
to Hockey House Pod. Yeah. I mean, those guys, Murph and Aiden, were here for the first few days of ours before they went over to the other, the ACHA's finals. But they're whether they do it for ACHA or they're great. They are an absolutely great promoter of
college hockey.
College hockey, and they've learned, because they're recent graduates, but they've learned what that audience is looking for. And we've learned from them, and we've incorporated that, and throughout next year, and especially into the playoffs, the national championships next year, we've already have a ton of new ideas in order to do that, to get social media out, much more instantaneously. Given the nature of interactions now, it's much more instantaneous. But how to do that on a frequent basis to the very specific fan bases.
So alongside Mark Perwitz and Michael Perwitz, Mike, I'll leave you guys with the final say of the tournament. Mark, we will start with you, the chairman.
I just can't thank everybody enough who helped out behind the scenes. We could not have had, and there's Gabe. Let's give Gabe a big hand.
There he is. Gabe, you want to pop your head in?
Pop in,
He's always so camera shy.
We could not have had this.
Don't think he was going to come in and he just took a detour.
Flawless, tournament without them. The players and the fans were first rate. I mean, the hockey was first rate. For the most part, everybody had big smiles on their faces, even after they lost. I mean, that's what this is about, right? That's why we have pool play instead of one and done, right? So they get that experience. And for me, and again, there's always things to evolve. From something like this, we learn every single time that we do it. But 95%, 96% people are walking out of here with big smiles on their faces, going, "Thank you for doing this." For us and our sons and daughters, that's what it means.
Well, just to add on that, I can't tell you that I've seen a better weekend of hockey and even moments within games. Almost everything that you could possibly think of has happened this week. In pool play, a tie game with 3 seconds left, Niagara, and then the winner in overtime, and 3-on-3, the first 3-on-3 overtime winner.
South Carolina really took advantage of that one. Yeah.
Oh, they certainly
really did.
We had a game at the end of pool play where Buffalo had to win in regulation, pulled the goalie in a tie game, and ended up winning in regulation 2-1, or 3-1, but with 30 seconds left, they got another one after. But everything you could possibly think of has happened, and it's been exciting for the players, the fans, for us. I can't say enough good things, and it's been awesome to be a part of.
So another tournament in the books. Division I goes to the University of South Carolina. The first ever women's champion goes to Paul Smith's College. Division II just wrapped up, goes to the University of Florida, and Division III, University of Miami. Everyone except the women's division, you're happy in College Hockey South, specifically for 2 and 3. You're happy if you're down in Florida. Alongside Michael and Mark Perwitz, thank you for joining the pod. Thank you all watching along at home, no matter what device, watching the podcast or watching the games on Black Dog, for tuning in to this year's 2024 AAU National Championship Tournament. Thank you for joining, and we